History remembered the war. It forgot the girl who stood between fire and Fang. Smoke drifted across the battlefield like restless ghosts. Broken banners clawed at the wind. Armor lay scattered among the dead, glowing faintly where magic still refused to die. The sky burned red as if evening itself feared what had happened here. And above it all, wings. Massive, silent, waiting. The Dragon Lord stood on a cliff of shattered stone, his silhouette carved against flames that refused to fade. Ash gathered on his shoulders like snow. His golden eyes watched the ruins below, unreadable, ancient, tired. He should have felt victory. Instead, he felt something missing. A whisper moved across the wind, soft, almost human, a prophecy once spoken in secret halls. When fire meets hunger, the heart of the world will choose. He turned away from the battlefield, far beyond the ruined valley, past forests scarred by war and rivers glowing with magic. There was a small hill untouched by destruction. A single house stood there, simple, quiet, forgotten by kings. He didn't know why his gaze kept returning to it. He only knew he couldn't look away. The girl stepped outside just as dawn broke. Ilara pulled her cloak tighter against the cold morning breeze. The world smelled different today, heavy, uneasy, like the land itself was holding its breath. She glanced toward the distant horizon where faint smoke painted the sky. War again. Always war. Behind her, a cough echoed from inside the cottage. Her mother. Ilara quickly gathered herbs from a basket, her movements swift and careful. She had learned to survive quietly, to stay unnoticed. Life over the hill was simple but fragile. One bad season, one wrong choice, and everything could disappear. Her father used to say the hill protected them, but he was gone now, and sometimes she felt the world pressing closer. She paused suddenly. The wind shifted. A strange heat brushed her skin, warm, electric, followed by a sensation she couldn't explain, as though someone was watching her from very far away. Ilara looked up. Nothing, just morning light spilling across the grass, yet her heartbeat refused to calm. Deep within a shadowed forest, another pair of eyes watched the same hill. The Wolf Lord leaned against a twisted tree, silver hair falling across sharp features. His armor was dark, shaped like claws. Around him, warriors waited silently, but none dared speak. His gaze lingered on the distant cottage. "So that's her," he murmured. One of his captains stepped forward cautiously. "My lord, the dragon's forces move north. We should—" "I know where he moves," the Wolf Lord interrupted softly. His smile was dangerous, predatory. "Strange," he said. "For all his wisdom, he watches a peasant girl." The captain frowned. "She's nothing." The Wolf Lord chuckled, low and amused. "No," he said. "She's the one thing he noticed." His eyes glowed faintly silver. "And anything that captures a dragon's attention is never nothing." Ilara felt it again that night, the sensation of being seen. She stepped outside after settling her mother to sleep. The sky stretched wide above her, filled with stars too bright, too sharp. The world felt restless. She walked toward the edge of the hill. A sudden shadow passed overhead, huge, silent. Her breath caught. For one terrifying moment, she thought the sky itself had split open. Then she saw them, enormous wings gliding through moonlight, scales like molten metal, fire glowing faintly beneath skin that shimmered like living stars. A dragon. Her knees nearly gave out. The creature didn't roar, didn't attack. It simply circled once, impossibly graceful, before disappearing into the clouds. Elara stood frozen long after it vanished. Her heart pounded so hard it hurt. Dragons were legends, kings, monsters from stories told to frighten children. Why here? Why now? She turned and froze again. At the base of the hill stood a man, tall, cloaked in darkness, watching her. Moonlight caught sharp eyes that reflected silver like a wolf beneath winter skies. Fear crawled up her spine. He smiled, not kind, not cruel, something worse. Interested. Elara, he said softly, as though tasting the sound of her name. She staggered back. Who are you? The wind answered first, cold and wild. Then his voice. A king, he said. And soon, you will know why the world has started moving toward you. Before she could speak, he disappeared into the shadows, as if he had never been there. Elara stood trembling, the night suddenly too quiet. Far above, hidden among clouds, golden eyes watched from the sky. The Dragon Lord had seen everything, and for the first time in centuries, he felt something dangerously close to fear. Because the prophecy had begun, and the girl on the hill had no idea that two ancient powers had already chosen her. The kingdoms were alive with tension, a pulse of unrest that no amount of stone walls or magic could suppress. High above, the dragon citadel floated like a shard of dawn trapped in clouds, its towers golden and obsidian, humming with ancient power. Dragons glided silently across the sky, wings catching sunlight in iridescent flashes. Inside the highest chamber, the Dragon Lord traced his fingers over a living map, the ink shimmering as borders shifted and burned where conflict spread. The wolf moves south, one advisor said, his voice barely louder than a whisper. The Dragon Lord did not turn. He tests us, he replied softly. Not just our strength, but our resolve. His golden eyes flickered to a distant point where the world's edge seemed to waver, where war and fate met in uneasy balance. An elder coughed, shifting uneasily. Some say he will strike soon, my lord. No, the Dragon Lord said, voice low, almost unreadable. He will strike at what I hold dear, at what I do not dare yet name. The words carried weight beyond explanation. He remembered the girl, Elara, standing over her hill, moonlight in her hair, unaware of the forces circling above her. Something ancient stirred whenever he thought of her, a pull stronger than caution, stronger than reason. Dangerous. He extinguished the map with a sweep of his hand, the glowing borders collapsing into smoke. We hold our line, he said. No unnecessary bloodshed. Behind him, the advisors exchanged worried glances. They had all heard the whispers, knew the prophecy. When fire meets hunger, the heart of the world will choose. Far to the west, in the shadowed spires of the Wolf Court, the air was different, sharp, predatory, alive with tension. Blue flames flickered across iron torches as the Wolf Lord moved through his hall, silver eyes glinting with intent. His court was silent but watchful. All knew he was a predator among hunters. "The dragons hesitate," a general said cautiously. "Now would be the perfect time to strike." The Wolf Lord paused, leaning lightly against the obsidian throne. A faint smile curved his lips. "Strike?" he murmured. "Why spoil the game before it is played?" "Game, my lord?" His voice lowered, soft and dangerous. "Power is not won in a single battle. It is taken when your enemy does not understand your hand until it is too late." He straightened, gaze flickering to the horizon, where the girl's hill lay hidden beneath morning mist. "And some are more valuable than lands or gold." The general frowned. "A child?" "Not a child," the Wolf Lord whispered, eyes narrowing. "She is a storm waiting to break, and both kings will fall if they do not watch carefully." On the hill, life was fragile, but alive. Ilara carried water from the stream, listening to her mother's uneven breaths inside the cottage. Fever lingered, though the remedies helped slightly. Her hands were calloused but steady. Every small movement was measured, careful. Survival depended on it. Yet tonight, the hill felt different. The air hummed, restless. The forest held its breath. Birds flew in strange formations, whispering through trees. She stopped at the hill's edge, scanning the horizon. A shadow passed overhead, fleeting but immense. Her pulse spiked. Instinct urged her to run, but curiosity rooted her in place. The air tingled, warm yet electric, as if someone, or something, was watching. "Not safe," a voice said behind her. Ilara spun. Silver eyes reflected in the darkness. The Wolf Lord stepped from shadow, tall, confident, predatory. Her stomach tightened. "Why are you here?" she asked. "Curiosity," he replied, soft, measured. His gaze lingered, sharp and assessing. "You live quietly, but the world does not leave people like you untouched for long." She swallowed. "Who are you?" He smiled faintly. "A wolf among kings. You may call me the Wolf Lord." Her heart skipped. Tales of him, whispered across villages, were of conquest, cruelty, and obsession. Yet here he stood, calm, almost intimate in the cold night. "The world is changing," he said, "and those who remain in the middle often pay the highest price." He took a step back, letting the shadows swallow him. "Choose carefully, little hill girl. Kings do not notice without reason." She exhaled slowly. Alone again, the wind caressed the grass, carrying with it the faintest echo of wings above. The Dragon Lord had already seen her, and in the balance between fire and Fang, the world had begun moving toward her. Ilara had never left the hill. Her life was quiet, measured, a rhythm of herbs, water, and tending to her mother. But that night, the world pressed closer, pulling her toward a destiny she did not yet understand. The forest edge shimmered with moonlight as she stepped carefully among the trees. Her senses were alert, the subtle shift of wind, the rustle of leaves, the faintest glimmer of scales in the shadows above. She paused. Something was coming, something immense. Before her, the Wolf Lord emerged, silver eyes glinting, his presence filled the space like a predator filling a forest clearing. Elara froze. Every instinct screamed to flee, but her legs refused to obey. "You should not wander," he said softly. His voice held the weight of command, but also an undercurrent of curiosity that was almost seductive. I needed air," she stammered. "You are more than you know," he interrupted, stepping closer. His gaze traveled over her like fire across dry grass. "And far more dangerous than you believe." Her pulse throbbed, not entirely from fear. There was something magnetic in his presence, something impossible to resist, yet impossible to trust. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the clearing. The night air trembled, shadows bent, and there it was, the Dragon Lord, descending from the clouds above, wings folded but immense, eyes golden and piercing. Elara stumbled back, her heart hammered as the Dragon Lord landed softly a few paces from her. Even in human form, his power radiated like heat from a forge. He did not speak at first. He simply watched, evaluating, protective, ancient. The Wolf Lord's lips curved in a faint, knowing smile. "Ah," he murmured. "So this is the one who draws fire from the sky itself." Elara's head spun. Two lords, both dangerous, both claiming her attention without asking. One radiated control and warmth, the other hunger and danger. The Dragon Lord's voice cut through the tension, calm and low. "Step away from her." The Wolf Lord tilted his head, amusement flickering in his silver gaze. "Or what? You would protect her with wings and fire? She is human, fragile, yet even you watch her with the caution of a king guarding treasure." The Dragon Lord's eyes narrowed, golden light glinting. "Do not mistake caution for hesitation. She is not yours to claim." Elara's own pulse raced. She felt the air between them crackle, an invisible thread of tension that pulled her toward both, even as fear urged her to flee. "You see it, don't you?" the Wolf Lord murmured, leaning slightly closer. "The way he watches, the way he burns just to keep her safe. And yet..." His gaze flickered to her, sharp, claiming, "You could belong to me, if you wanted." Elara shivered, resisting the magnetic pull in his voice. "I belong to no one," she whispered. For a long moment, silence held them, three figures poised like statues in a dangerous tableau. The night air was thick, heavy with unspoken desire, the promise of power, and the danger of forbidden attraction. Finally, the Dragon Lord stepped slightly forward, wings rustling behind him. "Do not let him sway you. Listen to what your heart tells you, not what fear demands." The Wolf Lord chuckled softly. "Fear? No. Desire," he corrected, voice low and intimate. "You are far too curious to stay distant. That is why we are here. Both of us." Elara's chest tightened. Her world had been small, quiet, safe. But now it was a storm, and she was at the center. Two ancient forces circling her, testing her, claiming her attention in ways she could neither resist nor understand. She swallowed hard, realizing with a chill that life over the hill had ended the moment they had arrived, and that neither fire nor Fang would let her go easily. The night was heavy with unspoken tension. Elara could barely breathe as she moved through the forest, the leaves crunching under her boots, each sound amplified in the quiet. The memory of the two lords, dragon and wolf, lingered like fire against her skin. Her heart refused to settle. A flicker of movement caught her eye. She froze. The wolf lord stepped from the shadows, silent and fluid as a stalking predator. His silver eyes glimmered in the moonlight, scanning her with a dangerous precision. "You should not wander here alone," he murmured, voice low, intoxicating. Her voice faltered. "I'm not afraid of you." He tilted his head, amused. "No? Yet the heat of your skin betrays you, the way your pulse leaps, the way you hesitate." Ilara's stomach tightened. She wanted to step back, to escape, but the forest felt too small, too confining. Something in his presence drew her, magnetic and dangerous. A shiver traced her spine. Above them, a sudden rush of air made the branches tremble. She looked up. The dragon lord descended from the clouds, wings folded gracefully behind him, eyes glowing golden. Power radiated from him in waves, warm, protective, impossible to ignore. The wolf lord smiled faintly, leaning closer. "Even he watches you with caution, and yet you tremble not for him, but for me." Ilara's breath caught. His words were sharp, insinuating, yet a thrill ran through her. Fear and desire mingled in a strange electric current. The Dragon Lord's voice cut through the charged silence, low, commanding. "Step back, wolf. She is not yours to claim." The Wolf Lord tilted his head, lips curling. "And yet," he said softly, "everything about her makes her mine in some way. Even you know it." Ilara's chest tightened. The air between them vibrated, subtle, invisible, but undeniable. She felt the pull of both, like a tide she could not resist. One was fire restrained, controlled. The other, hunger unbound, dangerous and relentless. "You see it," the Wolf Lord whispered, leaning just enough closer for her to feel the warmth of his presence. "The way he burns, just to keep you safe. And yet..." His silver gaze flickered to hers, intense, claiming, "I could show you desire beyond reason, if you dared." Her heart pounded. Desire. Danger. The words mingled and twisted inside her. Her instincts screamed to run, yet some part of her, curious, alive, longed to remain. The Dragon Lord stepped forward, closer than before. "Do not let him sway you. Listen to your heart, not to fear or temptation." Ilara swallowed hard, feeling the weight of their gaze on her, two ancient forces pulling her in opposite directions. She had never known such a tension, such tension. And yet, a thrill ran through her that was both terrifying and intoxicating. The Wolf Lord chuckled softly, low and intimate, brushing the tip of his gloved fingers across a leaf near her hand. "You are far too curious to resist. That is why we are both here. Both of us, circling." The forest seemed to hold its breath. Ilara's pulse raced as she realized the truth. Her quiet hill had ended the moment they arrived. She was caught between fire and Fang, between control and hunger, between safety and danger. And she could not escape. Not yet. Not when the forest itself seemed to whisper, warning her that what had begun tonight would change everything.
The Dragon Lord's eyes softened, golden warmth shining even through the tension. He did not step closer, but radiated a protective intensity that pressed against her skin. The Wolf Lord leaned closer, silver fire in his gaze, promising peril and thrill. Ilara's breath trembled. Desire, fear, curiosity, danger. All mixed together, impossible to untangle. And yet, in the center of it all, she understood one undeniable truth. She was no longer alone, and the world, her life, her heart, would never be the same again.
The forest was quiet, almost too quiet, as if it held its breath. Ilara moved cautiously, carrying herbs and bandages, yet the air felt alive with unseen eyes. Every rustle of leaves, every shadow across the moonlit path made her heart pound in a rhythm she couldn't escape. She wasn't alone. A soft rustle behind her made her spin, and there he was, the Wolf Lord. Silver eyes glinting, steps silent as a predator stalking prey. "You linger too long," he said, voice low and intimate. "Curiosity suits you poorly." Ilara clenched her fists, trying to mask the tremor in her chest. She didn't want to admit the pull his presence had on her. "I am not afraid of you," she said, though her voice faltered under the intensity of his gaze. He smiled faintly, a dangerous, knowing smile. "Not yet," he whispered, stepping closer, his aura pressing against her skin, drawing her toward him like a tide she could not resist. "But fear and desire are closely entwined. You will learn soon enough." A sudden ripple of wind made the branches above sway violently. Ilara's eyes widened as golden light spilled through the canopy. The Dragon Lord had arrived, descending gracefully, wings folded, eyes glowing like molten gold. Power radiated from him in waves, calm and commanding. "Step back," he said quietly, voice carrying both authority and care. "She is not yours to claim." The Wolf Lord tilted his head, amusement flickering in his silver eyes. "And yet she fascinates me more than the dragon does," he murmured. "I see the way he restrains himself, yet I also see the way he burns for her. Curiosity and desire wrapped into one fragile human girl." Ilara's pulse throbbed painfully. Her body felt caught between them, drawn to both, unable to resist the tension that crackled like electricity. One was fire-tempered, protective, noble. The other, a storm, intense, dangerous, and irresistible. "You must listen to your own heart," the Dragon Lord said softly, stepping closer. "Not to instinct, not to hunger, not to fear. Only your heart can guide you." The Wolf Lord chuckled, low and dangerous. "Your heart? Hearts are fragile things, easily bent, easily broken. And yet, that is exactly why she enthralls both of us." Ilara felt her knees weaken. She tried to speak, but the words lodged in her throat, tangled between fear and desire, curiosity and caution. The Wolf Lord leaned closer, voice a whisper that brushed against her ear, carrying a thrill she could not resist. "Do you feel it? The way he holds himself back for you? And yet I offer what he cannot. Temptation, danger, freedom." The Dragon Lord's golden gaze softened, but it radiated an intensity that pressed against her very soul. Protective, restrained, almost painfully patient, yet it burned beneath the surface like a promise. Ilara's chest tightened. She understood then that life over the hill was gone forever. She was caught in a web spun by fire and Fang, desire and danger. She could not run. She could not hide. And even if she wanted to, the pull toward both lords was magnetic, unrelenting. Her own thoughts threatened to betray her. Curiosity, desire, confusion. Yet within it all, a stubborn clarity began to emerge. This was more than attraction, more than peril. Her choices now would shape kingdoms, and her heart was the battlefield. A rustle from the forest startled them all. Shadows shifted, the night pressed close. Magic stirred, responding to the tension, echoing the unspoken battle for her attention. The Wolf Lord's eyes flickered toward the shadows. "Soon," he said softly. "Soon, everything will demand your decision." Ilara's breath caught. Both lords watched her, their power, desire, and danger radiating in equal measure. She was at the center of a war she could not yet see, between fire and Fang, control and hunger, safety and temptation. And she knew, deep in her bones, that nothing would ever be the same. The dawn came slow, spilling silver across the hill. Ilara stood at the edge of the forest, hands trembling, heart pounding. The night had been heavy with whispers, with shadows that moved like living things, and the weight of choices she did not yet fully understand. From the trees, the Wolf Lord emerged first. His presence was magnetic, predatory, and impossible to ignore. Silver eyes glinted, capturing her attention as if he could see every thought in her mind. "You feel it, don't you?" he murmured, voice low, intimate. "The pull between us, the hunger, the danger. I can give you everything the dragon cannot. Freedom, fire, temptation unbound." Ilara swallowed hard, heart racing. Desire and fear twisted inside her like twin serpents. She wanted to step back, but the air itself seemed to hold her in place. Above them, the sky shifted, wings unfurled, massive and shimmering, casting golden light across the clearing. The Dragon Lord descended, silent and deliberate, eyes burning with power and restraint. His gaze softened as it fell upon her, protective warmth radiating, almost painfully tender. "You do not belong to him," he said quietly, voice steady yet filled with emotion. "And you do not belong to me. You belong to yourself. But I will protect you, even if it costs me everything." The Wolf Lord's lips curved in a dangerous smile. "Protection is safe," he said. "Desire is exhilarating. Tell me, little hill girl, do you crave safe warmth or wild fire?" Ilara's chest heaved. She could not speak. The tension between the two lords pressed against her like a living thing. One radiated safety, golden and controlled. The other, chaos and hunger, silver and dangerous. Both claimed her attention. Both demanded her response without asking. She faltered, voice barely a whisper. "I don't know what to choose." The Wolf Lord stepped closer, shadows wrapping around him like silk. "Then you are still mine to tempt." The Dragon Lord's wings shifted slightly, and a subtle heat brushed her skin. "Do not let him sway you with words alone," he murmured. "Listen to the truth of your own heart. Feel it. Name it. The world will wait no longer." A sudden tremor shook the ground. Magic, wild and raw, swirled around them. The tension was not just emotional. The forest, the hill, Even the air vibrated with the collision of their powers. Fire and Fang, hunger and protection, desire and restraint, all colliding in ways she could not yet name. Elara's knees weakened. She could not decide. Every instinct, every heartbeat pulled her in both directions. Yet deep inside, she knew that the choice was hers, that yielding to fear or temptation would not guide her path. The Wolf Lord's eyes softened, just slightly, but the fire in them remained. "Soon, everything will demand your decision," he whispered. "And if you choose wrong—" He did not finish. The threat was implied, chilling, impossible to ignore. The Dragon Lord's golden gaze met hers. "I will not lie," he said, voice low and steady. "The cost will be high, whichever way you turn. But the truth of your heart is the only light that will survive this storm." Elara's breath caught. The world seemed to pause, holding her in suspended time. Two ancient powers, Fire and Fang, waited for her choice. Desire, danger, love, and loyalty, all intertwined. She closed her eyes, taking a trembling breath. She could not run. She could not hide. Not when two hearts, two kingdoms, and two destinies had collided with her own. And in that silence, that tension, that impossible moment, Elara realized the weight of what she carried. The heart of the world, the gaze of Fire and Fang, and a choice that would burn her soul before it could set her free. The hill was quiet at last, but silence carried weight. Elara stood at the edge, the first light of dawn brushing her hair with gold. Her hands shook, her chest heaving with the memory of the night, of choices, of power and desire colliding around her. Fire and Fang had circled her, claimed her attention, tested her heart. The Wolf Lord emerged from the shadows, silver eyes fierce yet strangely tempered. He smiled faintly, dangerous and knowing. "You have chosen," he said, voice low. "The world will remember, or perhaps forget." Elara's heart pounded. She had chosen not out of fear, not out of temptation, but out of truth, out of the quiet knowledge that some power, some desire, could be beautiful without consuming her. The Dragon Lord stepped forward, wings folding gently behind him, golden eyes glowing with warmth and restraint. "You are brave," he murmured, voice low but carrying the weight of centuries. "And your heart has spoken clearly." The Wolf Lord's gaze flickered, calculating, a predator recognizing a worthy opponent. "So be it," he said softly. "I will not stand in your way. But know this, I will remember, and so will the world if it dares to whisper the truth." Elara exhaled slowly, relief and fear mingling. Her life had changed forever. Two ancient lords had tested her heart, circling like storms, and now one remained. One who would not demand her submission, but would protect her, honor her choices, and burn with desire tempered by respect. The Dragon Lord lowered his head, close enough that she could feel the heat radiating from him, the promise in every careful movement. "You chose wisely," he said, voice soft yet intense. "Not because I am powerful, but because you see me as I am. Not a king, not a conqueror, only a guardian, bound to the world, and to you." Elara's pulse raced. Desire and safety collided inside her, a tension she had never known before. Yet in his gaze she felt the truth. Protection could be passionate. Desire could be noble. Love could be dangerous, yes, but never cruel.
The Wolf Lord's form flickered in the distance, a silver shadow against the dawn. He inclined his head once, predator to predator, then melted into the forest, leaving them alone. Danger still lingered in the world, but for now, she was safe. Elara took a tentative step toward the Dragon Lord. Every heartbeat echoed, a rhythm of hope and trembling thrill. I don't know how to thank you, she whispered, voice soft, almost fragile. He smiled faintly, golden eyes warm. Do not thank me, he said. Let your heart speak. That is all the truth I require. The wind stirred, carrying with it the faintest whisper of power. The forest, the hill, the world itself responding to the choice made here. Fire and Fang had collided, but balance remained. Elara reached out, brushing her hand against his. The contact was electric, soft yet intense. A tension both dangerous and seductive, tempered now by choice and clarity. The Dragon Lord lowered his head, close enough that their foreheads touched. This is only the beginning, he murmured. The world may not remember us, but some stories are never meant to be erased. Elara closed her eyes, letting the warmth and intensity settle into her bones. She had survived desire, danger, and choice. She had found the courage to see through temptation and fear. And somewhere in the shadows, the Wolf Lord watched, calculating, waiting. A promise of storm yet to come. But for now, the Dragon Lord held her heart. And together, they stepped forward into a world that would never know the truth. A love written into legend, erased from history, yet alive in every heartbeat, every whisper, every tremor of fire and Fang.